Chafing Armor Podcast, episode 60. Join us. Join us below. Welcome back to the Chafing Armor Podcast. I'm your host and lovable Dungeon Master, Michael Corley. And with me tonight is Izzy. Izzy, tell everyone who you will be playing.
I am playing Morezi Mugraw, a half-orc barbarian who has a cool nose ring.
She does indeed. Also with us today is Lee. Lee, tell everyone who you will be playing.
G'day everybody, my name is Lee and I will be playing Osokai, the shifter ranger with a varying lifespan.
Yes, we will get to that in a moment. And last but not least, James. James, tell everyone who you will be playing.
Hi, everybody. I'm playing Penton Chalice, a spell scale sorcerer, and, oh, you know the drill.
All that good stuff. And unfortunately, our wonderful and estimable Dare has failed his save versus disease and is very, very sick right now. So good thoughts towards him while he is on the mend. We shall soldier on. When we last left our wonderful group about to leave the city of Masgate were approached by a paladin halfling by the name of Gegel Birchmerger, who asked them to help that there was a monster on board the good ship Hisswhistle. However, while trying to get on board, you were attacked by two zombies, which you vanquished in very amusing ways. And while making it on board, Gegel was dragged below water by some kind of creature. You made it on board to find that surrounding the main area were various pelts, and Pinson, making his way into the captain's quarters, found Brumio, Duncan, and Captain Jackson all pinned to the wall with iron spikes and a hooded figure inside. Outside, Morezi has been facing off with Tuntun, the giant full-blooded orc who has been raging. However, he whispered into her ear that if he doesn't stop, that if he stops, they will kill. And finally, through a success of fantastically unfortunate rolls, Osokai, while making his way over the plank, has fallen through the hole made by Gegel getting dragged down. Something has come out of the water to grab at you. You have fallen through the hole, barely out of the top, only to be caught by that amazing 3-foot rope by Tix. And that's where we join back in. For the sake of continuity and just to make things interesting, why don't we all go ahead and re-roll for initiative?
Yeah!
Alrighty.
18.
Morezi has an 18.
4.
And
Ooh.
a 4 for Osokai, about consistent with how things have been going for you. Those dice have really turned on you.
We're off to a good start, folks.
And Pinson, what was your roll?
That would be a 19.
19. Wow, it's a nice little spread there. So Pinson, you will actually go first. You have walked in, and the hooded figure turns towards you, and you have no idea who this is. It is a almost skeletally thin, ragged, basically how you imagine a homeless person looking. You, having braved the elements for years, have come across many who have not done as well as you, braving the elements. That is what this young elf woman looks like. She looks terrible, and she snarls at you.
Oof. As I recall, as soon as I walked into the room, I cast Mage Armor on myself.
Yes.
Yeah. So I just wanted to make sure that was remembered. So this is obviously an aggressive creature. I'm gonna whip out one of my newfound spells, and I'm gonna drop a web in the room.
Ooh, web. That's a fun one.
Yeah.
So go ahead and tell us what that does and what the roll is needed versus it.
Okay. Well, it covers a 20-foot radius area where I'll center it, which will be basically right on the creature. I don't recall how big the room is, but it probably filled the room, I imagine, because it's just a ship's quarters. Flex save will keep the creatures within the web area from being completely entangled, and then it just turns into difficult terrain for them if they make their save. Otherwise, they're entangled and they need to make a DC 20 strength check to get out of it.
Here we go. And what is your magical save, or the save for that?
It's okay. So it'll be a 16. Woo! Okay, there we go.
16. Okay.
Whew.
Okay, so they need a 16 to save. Is that correct?
That is correct, sir.
She rolled a 13, and she has a +2 to save,
Woo!
which means she does not succeed. So
Excellent.
describe what happens when you cast this spell.
Well, a bloom of sticky, thick webbing just explodes in the room from that center point and basically covers everything. Anybody that's 5 feet or more away from anything inside the web is considered as cover, and more than 20 feet away is like full cover. So you can basically, I can barely see the person at the center of the web at this point.
Mm-hmm. It's just a boom, and everything in there is covered. As you said, it is not a very big room, including, by the way, the 3 people pinned. But
Right.
as they were already pinned to the wall, it's not really affecting them that much.
Right.
It's not really doing them any more harm than they already are experiencing. She screams and snarls and is very furious, but is also completely webbed up. We now go to Morezi. Morezi, you are outside in locked combat with Tun-Tun. What would you like to do?
I would like to attack him with my halberd, doing non-lethal damage.
Okay.
I can't remember. Is it the same, damage roll if it's non-lethal, just it won't kill him?
Yes.
Okay, just checking. That's a critical one there.
Critical one. So go ahead and roll those percentage dice for me.
Let's see, give me 5 seconds here. 89.
That is an 89 is the highest you can roll and still have absolutely nothing happen. So just nothing happens. And the 90 and over is when things start getting interesting. So you just because you're not used to hitting things without trying to kill them. That's your entire life. That's everything is killing things. And we now turn to underneath you, Osokai. Give me just a real quick perception check.
Okay. I feel like I'm going to be real perceptive of the water underneath me, but hey.
Oh, yeah, you're giving a big old look-see. This is more just how much you see.
It's a 4.
A 4? Okay. It really, it's not so much that you're not looking, it's that it's dark, and it's a dark water, and a creature comes flinging out of the water. It is humanoid. It is very big, and it is trying to grab your leg. And it rolls a 10, which, what do you know what your flat-footed armor is? I'm sure it still is enough to, even with his bonus, to not be hit.
Yeah, it's 15.
Okay, so you're still good. It comes up and whoop, and then splashes back into the water. And that will bring it to the skinny and enraged elf. Inside, she would normally cast a spell, but you really can't do that when you're all webbed up.
Yeah, maybe a verbal spell. That's about it.
Yeah, it is possible. So she was going to do a certain spell, but she realizes she can't. She turns and she looks at you and she says, "Sleep," and her eyes flare red.
Ooh.
And you feel a wave of a sleepiness coming over you, and I need you to make a saving throw, a will saving throw.
All right, I will make this, huh?
Will!
That's a 14. I feel like I'm not going to make it.
Yeah, you needed a 15, unfortunately, and you feel the drowsiness coming over you, and you boom down to the ground. Part of your body slightly touching the sticky web, but not entirely entangling.
All glory to the hypno-hobo.
That's right, the hypno-hobo. But at least you got your spell off first, so there's that. That will actually bring it to Osokai. Osokai, you are dangling. When I say that you're not completely suspended below, I'm sorry, you are holding on with both arms to the rope, and you are about 3/4 of the way through the hole. What would you like to do?
I don't trust my dice anymore. I just don't.
Mm-mm.
I'm just gonna try and pull myself out, I suppose. It's the only thing I can do.
Okay, and Tix is going to assist you on that roll, so I'm going to say that you have advantage on that roll.
Okay.
Give it her 2 rolls.
Yeah, I hope I get better than that. That's a 2.
Mm.
Second roll is a 3.
Oh my goodness. So you do fail, and what effectively that means is you didn't roll a 1, so you don't fall, but having rolled a 2 and a 3, even with Tix helping you, you're not able to pull yourself up, and it's partly because it's wet, partly because you're on this little rope, and this is just like the most inconvenient thing possible, but like you actually kind of like a half foot further down the hole. Wow, things are getting really interesting here. Now as you said, the crazy hobo woman is going to try to free herself from the thing, but she needs a 20, does she not?
Correct.
Strength saving.
Correct.
And she got, even with her strength bonus, which she does have a strength bonus, does not roll that. So she's...
You can also use Escape Artist at a DC 25.
Well, she does not have Escape Artist, so that...
Okay.
But thank you for telling me that. That will bring us back to Morezi. Morezi, as you've woofed with your halberd.
Let's try to friggin' fight this man non-lethally in damage-wise. 15?
15, that hits.
Okay, thank God. Let's see. 13 points of non-lethal halberd damage.
13 points. And you just crack him across the face. But he is an orc. And while 13 ain't nothing, he is really, really tough. Give me one quick perception roll. That I believe for you, that's just a straight roll.
That fell off the table. Got a 7.
7. Okay. You're not able. He just is just rah, raging raw rage. And that will actually. I actually skipped him last time, so he rolls a 2. So that's not going to do it. Guess what, Osokai? Guess what happened is underneath there is you actually see a decaying hand clomp onto the side of the ship, dig in, and then launch itself upwards as it goes for you. Wow. As bad as you're rolling, it rolled a 4. Give me one more quick perception roll.
Okay. All right, that's a 20.
20. Okay, so this time as it comes up, the moonlight just catches. So remember in the woods, you were attacked by 2 bugbears, and you were victorious over these bugbears, were you not? With the help of a certain pig, the location of which I will get to in a moment.
Yes.
Do you recall that one of the bugbears, the drow, actually butchered and used that meat for their feast later? That's this bugbear. So if you imagine what a bugbear looks like after its essential bits have been hacked out and it has been reduced to a ravaging skeletal undead creature, that is what's trying to grab your legs. But fortunately, it had missed. And so that will actually bring it to... I skipped your turn, Pinton.
Well, it's because I'm asleep.
Yes, but you actually get to make a saving throw.
Oh, there is a save. Okay.
Yes, yes, you get to save versus basically another will saving throw.
If you make it, you'll wake up.
That's a 15.
15 is what you needed.
Oh, well, there you go.
So you yourself awake. Fortunately, I didn't mess anything up because I literally reversed you and the evil hobo. So
I believe even after making it, he doesn't get his turn. I think.
Yeah.
I just wake up this round anyway, so yeah.
Yeah. Right. And so you find like one sleeve of your thing is like kind of stuck to the web, but you're not actually entangled in it. It's just kind of like, it's like when you fall asleep and that drool kind of sticks to your face. It's like, when you wake up. And you see that she is mightily trying to free herself and has not been able to yet. So, Osokai, this has been a very interesting round. What are you going to do?
By this point, I would hope Osokai has heard the commotion on the deck with Tun.
Oh, absolutely.
We've traveled with Tun for a while. I would assume that Osokai knows, for want of a better term, Tun's triggers, things that make him rather angry.
You do.
I'm going to use one. I'm going to shout at him one of his things that makes him very upset, in the hope that since Tix is hopeless and can't pull me out, and I'm hopeless and can't pull myself out, that maybe he'll be able to pull me out in order to exact his revenge on my face. So that's what I'm going to do.
I will give you a +2 on this check because you're able to pull not only on the nearly 2 months you spent on board the good ship Pisswhistle, but also drawing upon the memories of Captain Jackson, because both Tun and Brumio are essentially kind of co-first mates. And she knows them extremely well. You know that he has several triggers, but the biggest trigger of all is anyone who is dissing or in any way speaking down or badly about Brumio.
Ah, all right. Brumio is... If Tuntun's fat, Brumio's skinny, right?
Yeah, Brumio is a completely normal-sized human, perhaps just a little burlier than normal for his life on the sea.
Like, I would say, hey, Tweedle dumb, where's Tweedle even dumber? But I don't think that that particular fairy tale exists in this universe.
If you want it to, it can. Lots of pop cultural references can make their way over in various forms.
Maybe it's Tweedulus Fool.
I'm usually good with the insults, and I can't seem to come up with one for poor Brumio.
No, that's quite all right. The character is a little bare bones, to be perfectly honest, so I will allow you to simply roll. I just wanted to hear if you had something good to throw out.
Yeah, no, I'll if I come up with something later, you might be able to edit it in, but see how it goes. All right. Okay, that's a 19 on the die.
19, okay. And I did give you a +2, so that's at the very least a 21. And so Tun, he is fist cuffs. He's not has a weapon or anything. He is raging against you, Morezi, and he hears this and he turns and just goes "Rah!" and races towards you, Osokai. By the way, Morezi, you can take an attack of opportunity if you so choose.
His plan is to have Brumio pull him out, or have Tuntun pull him out, right?
Yes.
I would like to assume that this party has been together long enough that Morezi is even being half orc.
I'm trying to figure out if that'll...
Yeah, no, I definitely would allow that Morezi would understand what he's about.
No, I'm just trying to figure out if that'll... I'll pass just because I think Morezi knows what's going on and she doesn't want to accidentally pull Tuntun's attention back to her.
So he races towards you. I need to make a quick roll here. Okay. With his prodigious strength, he reaches down and grabs you by the scruff of your leather armor and yoinks you upwards one-handed. You take 3 points of damage from your body smashing into the side of the plank as he pulls you up. He pulls you, and I'm talking about Osokai here, so that's how strong Tun is. He pulls you bodily up and throws you onto the deck. And I would like you to make a perception check.
Okay. That's an 18.
An 18. So imagine him pulling you up and he turns like a baseball player who's facing outfield and then is turning back to the home plate to throw you onto the deck. And as you pass by, you hear a rough whisper saying, "Please save him." And then, whoom, you are thrown onto the deck. And I would like you to make a quick reflex saving throw, please.
Oh, my best reflex. Please, dice, come on. Yes. Okay, that's 16 on the die plus 7, so 20.
Ooh.
Okay, with that amazing roll, you actually only take 1 more point of damage from being hurled over 10 feet onto the deck. So you are now nearly on the center of the deck. And that was your turn, a good use of your turn, and also Tuntun's turn, as it happens. And that will bring it to Tix, who is now that you are safe, he tucks the rope to his side, and he will turn, and he's going to begin running towards the cabin because he knows that Duncan, or at least he suspects that Duncan is in there. And that will take his entire turn, but he gets all the way up there with his short little legs, boop, 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 and he comes up to see you picking yourself up, Penton.
It's Tix, thinking with little ticks again.
There we go, yeah. And that will actually bring it to the evil hobo.
He's thinking with his ticks.
Yep. And she is straining against the web but cannot move. And she just barely lifts up a hand and snaps her fingers. And a massive blast of wind hits both you and Tix. And I would like you to make I think this would probably be a reflex saving
That
throw.
sounds about right.
It's more physical.
What a blowhard.
Tix gets a 19. Not bad, Tix.
Also a 19.
Wow, very good. So describe to me, you're just inside. So basically what Tix does is he was just about to walk inside. He sees this happening and he just ducks off to the side. So the blast just goes past him harmlessly because he's still technically mostly outside. How do you keep from being blasted out the door?
I'm going to say that I hadn't completely gotten my sleeve detached from the web, and it kept me from being blown off.
Okay. And so you actually utilize this unfortunate event and turn it into your advantage. And there's a moment where your legs are lifted off the air and you're just like, but you're still holding on to the web. So you are not pulled away. And that will actually bring it back to Morezi. Morezi, Tun is now on the plank coming up. Osokai has just been thrown past you. And by the way, at this moment, Osokai, you actually hear and Chop comes running up to the docks, but stops and seems to hesitate, not sure if he can make it past the plank because the plank has a massive hole in the center, and he's not quite so good at the leaping part. He probably could make it around, but he's very nervous about doing so. Just FYI. But this is actually Morezi's turn. What would you like to do?
Since I am currently physically distanced from Tun, I'd like to make my way into the inside of the ship where all of the spider webby stuff is going on.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Is the elf lady currently still in the web being angry?
Yes, that is. She is still absolutely restrained. She's only tried to get out once and failed. So she is still when you look in the room, it is just nothing but web, except for the little area where Penton is near the front where he casts the spell. Everything else in the room is covered in webs, including Captain Jackson, Duncan, and Brumio, who are literally pinned to the wall, each with two iron spikes pinning their shoulders to the wall.
I know it's difficult terrain. Do you think I can physically traverse over to the people getting pinned in one turn?
You would be able to in one turn. However, you've used the rest of your movement getting here this turn. So you can still take an action, but you cannot. Well, I would say that you would be able to difficult terrain your way over to them, but that would be the rest of your turn. It's just making your way over to them.
Is the hobo elf any closer?
Yeah.
Does attack against her unrestrain her?
No. It does not, and she is at a disadvantage because she is very restrained. And I would actually allow you to make an attack against her because of your halberd, because of the reach of your halberd.
Yeah, I'm gonna make a halberd attack against her. I'm gonna assume that Penton would be able to gesture to me as to what I should be murdering. I'm going to roll for attack. That's 18.
That will definitely hit.
And that is 6 points of halberd damage.
Okay, so you take your halberd and kind of do like a jab and stab in her chest area. She flinches away and it catches her more in the shoulder, and she screams when you hit, but you absolutely hit her. And now a half zombie, half skeleton, completely gutted bugbear zombie leaps up onto the dock and is making its way towards all of you. But that is going to take it its entire turn since it had to get out of the water, onto the dock, onto the deck. The nearest one, it actually passes by Tun and is heading towards you, Osokai. Locking eyes with you. Tun is now going to rush towards you, Osokai. He is going to swing and miss at the bugbear, but he misses, unfortunately. And that will bring it to the woman who is trapped inside. She is just absolutely furious. And she is restrained, but she's able to put her hand flat on the ground, and stone spikes erupt upwards from the ground. And I need Morezi and Penton to make a reflex saving throw.
Yes.
Okay.
What is the reflex modifier again? Is that like
That
dex
is
or
your
something?
dexterity, and you should also have
There should be a saving throw, reflex saving throw.
All right,
Bonus.
let me see here.
Yeah, or no bonus.
Well, that was a natural 1, so I don't think I'm going to be using any modifiers.
Saving throws doesn't
yep.
matter.
Yeah.
You just add the total
that's-
to your save.
Well, then a 4.
And it's
Okay.
18 for me.
18. So Penton, being quite nimble and perhaps recognizing a spell being cast, you kind of begin to react accordingly. Tix, unfortunately, is not able to get out of the way in the time, nor is Morezi. Morezi, you actually take 4 points of damage. Now, when I say a stone spike, you might be thinking about a rock hit me, but imagine like jagged stone, just ripped and nasty. And now this whole area is actually considered difficult terrain, as if that were not enough. So you all must move at half speed or risk taking damage. Right here, it actually erupts outwards all the way to the steps that leading up to the cabin. Osokai, that will make it your turn.
Okay, Tuntun should be coming out of rage anytime soon, I guess.
Give me a quick perception check.
If he's even in rage, he might be faking it. Okay, that's a 17 on the die.
Yeah, he's faking it. You realize now the whole time you've very rarely Morezi is perhaps the most restrained barbarian you've ever met. She hasn't gone into rage that many times, but you have definitely seen orcs in rage many times, particularly at the great battle that y'all lost at. He was faking it, but now he's not even pretending because he was trying to attack the bugbear, but perhaps he lost some of that acting skills when he decided to switch targets. But yeah, you can tell that he is actually faking. And now it is your turn.
All right. Well, then I'm going to tell him that I've got this and to go assist the others.
He nods quickly to you, and he says in his normal voice, he goes, "Please save him." And then he turns and now you actually see him rage. His muscles just ripple, his eyes blaze with a bloodshot as you see a trickle of blood come down the side of his mouth. And he just races off and blocks the bugbear's path. And so you are able to make your way up the stairs very, very easily.
I was saying I would take on the bugbear. He goes and deals with the others, not the other way around.
No problem. Understood. So he heads up there. You square off with this bugbear who seems to have some glimmer of memory of you. And by the way, yes, as with the two on the dock, his eyes are glowing with a baleful blue glow. And what would you like to do to this bugbear corpse man?
I'd like to do a very quick sweep of him, see if he's wearing any jewelry, because I do believe I still have a ring in my pocket. And wondering if it may in fact be related.
Give me a quick perception roll.
Yes, why not? That's a 17.
17.
I said 17.
You do not see any jewelry on him except tucked into what is left of his belt, kind of sticking half out of a sort of pouch. You actually do see one of those medallions that you had originally seen on one of the squishy zombies, but you do not see anything else of note.
Alright, this is going to require some finesse. I'm going to shift and I'm going to cut his pants off.
Okay.
Oh my god, that's a 20.
So tell me how you cut his pants off. Describe to me, is this a weapon? Is this a claw? What's happening here?
These are my claws. So when Osakai shifts, he becomes... Well, Osakai himself is nearly 300 pounds. He's a big boy. He's like nearly 7 foot tall. He's a very hairy man, broad. But when he shifts, he gets a little leaner, a little longer, a little more hairy, a little more bear-like. Out of the tips of his fingers come inch-long black claws. His speed doesn't technically increase, but because he looks a lot leaner and a lot smaller, he looks faster. He is stronger, but yeah, he's generally pretty quick. And so in this case, he decided that his claws, he just strike out at the waistband of this malformed, disgusting, necromorphic creature, or whatever it's called. Having spotted the medallion and remembering that they're a part of those gooey things, in an attempt to separate it from the body and see what would happen, the claws will lash out and hook in sort of an uppercut action underneath the frayed waistband and just continue up, tearing the pants off this deceased bugbear.
Okay.
And with a smooth action, just kind of throwing them over my head onto the deck behind me.
Gotcha. So you succeed, and it whoom, ping, 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 lands on the deck behind you with a couple of drops. This is what happens. Now, I would love to tell you that he immediately collapses onto the ground and becomes inert.
Well,
that
didn't
does not
happen
happen
last time either, so...
Right. However, what does happen is the baleful blue glow does leave his eyes. I did mean before that there was a spark of recognition in his eyes, like he knew who you were and wanted to get you. When the light fades from his eyes, you have unfortunately had some encounters. He becomes more like a regular zombie, just a shambling attack monster, but not with the same... A regular zombie would not have been able to leap out of the water and jump off of the side of the boat and do all of those things. He becomes more like that, just like and just like kind of swiping at you for your attack. So you think that you have depowered him somewhat by doing so. So your attack was not entirely wasted. That will bring us to Tix. Tix is rubbing his feet as they have just jabbed into his feet with the item. He really wants to attack this woman because he looked inside and saw Duncan in there, and he is furious. And he is going to risk it. I'm going to make a quick roll here. It's not roll well. So he takes another 2 points of damage. So he actually did a little bit better that time. So he's taken 8 points of damage, and he's going to and he bump, and he gets cut by these jagged stone, and makes his way to the evil hobo, and he's going to do a touch attack, and he rolls a 3. And so, unfortunately, he misses. Probably because he's trying to not get caught in the web.
Yeah.
That's very frustrating. And that will actually bring it back to you, Penton.
All right,
better
then.
rounds we're having.
Okay. This creature has disappointed Penton quite a bit. So he's just going to try and put an end to this altogether. And I'm going to send a scorching ray its way, which will burn through the webbing. It'll basically like burn a hole through it, and kind of it'll kind of burn off about 5 foot square area, and as it goes through it, and assuming it hits, will do some damage to that, and then also the burning webs will also do a little bit of damage. But and at the very least that'll happen. So let's see if we can manage to hit this thing through the webbing and whatever its flat foot AC is, because it's not mobile yet. That's 19 modified to hit.
That will definitely hit.
Okay, and I will have infused this as well with my Bahamut power up. So the scorching ray. Let me make sure I've got the right amount of damage that goes along with this. Yes, it does 46 points of damage, and then the 2d6 on top of that. Oh, that was not great. All right, so that's 16 points of damage from the ray, and then because the webs are also on fire, that's going to be another 2d4 for the one round as they burn away flame damage, assuming it's susceptible to flame damage, but
very much so.
And another 6 points of damage on top of that.
6 points on top of that. So that is 28 points of damage. She is very badly injured as you just level your hands at her, and this ray of flame shoots out at her. And even as she pulls herself away from the webbing, the webs are burning the side of her face and her shoulders, her hood actually catches fire for a moment as she casts away her robe, leaving she's just wearing rags and scraps of leather, and is just not doing so great, shall we say.
Yeah.
And that will bring us to Morezi. Morezi, you have just barely avoided these flames that shot right past you. But of course, Benton is very good at his work, and it goes right past you.
On the flip side, there's now an open, scorched tunnel directly to the poor elf creature.
Yes.
What would you like to do?
I'm going to do the exact thing that I've been doing for the past 30 or so minutes, and I am going to attack a thing with my halberd, and it's going to be that elf woman.
I hit it with my stick.
13 with my stick.
What is your total?
13.
13 will hit because
Nice.
She has absolutely no armor. And even
She's a nasty rag lady.
Even with her +2 natural bonus, that is still going to hit, actually. So
Yeah.
roll that damage.
11 points of hitting damage.
All right. So
Hitting damage.
please, Morezi, imagine that you've just had this perfect area opened up before you. In this small space, you're wielding this giant halberd. Describe to me how you kill this crazy elf woman.
All right. I line myself up with the charred open space made by Penton's magic, and I kind of ready my halberd kind of at my side, like a jouster, and just charge forward and pierce her through with the little pointy part on the end of the weapon, and basically run her into the nearest wall,
which is just a couple of feet behind her. And so there's just this moment where she's literally lifted up into the air by the force of your blow, and then there's a kung as the back of the front of your halberd goes through her back, and she is pinned to the wall.
Like her
and she
victims.
actually. Oh, go ahead.
I imagine at the beginning of that run, I just see in my head Morezi standing there with a halberd to the side, and then her feet do that Scooby-Doo circle thing.
I want y'all to know there is no way I'm not putting that sound effect in right here.
Excellent.
And the most incongruous part of this is Aki is actually still on your shoulder and is just looking.
Imagine hanging on for dear life at this point.
Oh yeah, no, she would have leapt off, but literally everywhere below her was death. So she's just been hanging on for dear life right now, and just boom. And
the halberd goes through, goes, kung, and then there's a silence for about 3 seconds, and then from Morezi's shoulder is a thoinkth.
Ruh-roh, it's a Ralph. I regret nothing. And that will actually bring it to the bugbear. But before we get to the bugbear, something happened. There is a sound. There's a story that I am well known for at the medieval fair for telling, and it involves this sound. Clop, 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 clop. A sound of hooves, but the sound of hooves on wood. Clop, 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 clop. And
there's King George here to kill the dragon.
That's right. But instead of George to kill the dragon, Osokai, I think you're actually the only one who's actually on the deck right now, fully.
Yes.
Tix is like a little bit on. And you see something. So you know how the cabin area where the captain's quarter would be is raised up, and they've gone up these stairs to get up there.
Mm-hmm.
On that higher area that would go to where you would look over with the wheel.
Aft deck.
Thank you, the aft deck, because I forget all of my sea knowledge exists in about a tiny teaspoon. A horse comes riding up the side to the top, ignoring all laws of physics. This horse is not a horse, in fact, but a war pony. It is actually a war pony that is mostly skeleton. And atop this war pony is
Oh no.
Geggle.
Oh.
Geggle
Geggle.
Birchmerger, who, by the way, is not, as far as you can tell, a zombie. His eyes are not glowing a baleful blue glow. There does appear like there's something maybe wrong with him, but he looks down at you, Osokai, and he calls out, even though it's in that high voice that you have often claimed that ticks make, he calls out in a high voice that you all can hear. And he says, as he points at you, Osokai, and he says, I told you there was a monster on this ship. And that's where we'll end Chafing Armor, episode 60. And we will find out very, very soon what he is talking about. Thank you all for playing.
Thank you.
Yes.
Happy times.
Morezi, if people wanted to see your wonderful artwork on our website, what website would you think they would go to?
Chafingarmor.com to see where Morezi apparently draws it, and not your beautiful daughter Isabel.
No, I'm pretty sure it's
Father.
Morezi. I'm pretty sure it's Morezi. Just
Not your child who you spawned and who you probably was involved in naming me Isabel, and not Morezi.
no. If I had named you, you would have been like Captain Awesome Pants or something. Unfortunately, that was left up to your mother. And James, did you know that we have a YouTube channel?
We do?
I know, right? It's amazing.
No way!
Wow!
I'm very excited to hear that. I'm going to go there right now and check it out.
You really should. In fact, many people might not even realize that the wonderful Duke, who is our constant commenter on the YouTube channel, was my inspiration for the Grand Duke Vigil Fist. So I never actually told him that. I'm revealing that right now.
Nice.
And finally, Lee, do you know that people can get podcasts in all sorts of different ways?
Why, yes, I did. But why don't you elaborate further?
And
Golly!
not only can you go to iTunes and to Stitcher, but we are now actually on Spotify as well, thanks to a recommendation by James. So there's lots of different ways to get your great keeping helping of Chafing Armor, but bring a spoon, because you're not going to want to miss a drop. So, good night, everybody.
Night.
Good night.
Goodbye, everybody.
Good night.
And we will roll with you soon.